Welcome back to our glorious People's Republic of Rome. Last time we had a vote which overwhelmingly went in favor of centralization, so we will not be releasing any vassals in this playthrough unless something happens later. We will also not be taking any vassals outside of republicans, and we will not expand their borders. We will simply take them as vassals, leave them with their starting land, and then integrate them the moment we have the option to. Our main way of expansion is going to be through taking land and coring it directly. We will revisit the vassalization issue at a later date once we want to start to expand outside of Italy, and more importantly, outside of the Roman borders. What I would like to do is have us just control directly the land that is considered part of the Roman Empire. But everything outside of Rome, or outside of what the game considers the borders of Rome, we'll have to think about what we want to do with, whether we want to keep it or give it out to some sort of republican vassal. But that's a discussion for much later in the future. For now, let's begin our integration. We'll assign our guy with 100 military skill to start integrating the territory. I think there was also, there's this republic here that we liberated last time. They're willing to become our vassal, so we'll accept them. Vassal gain. Can we start integrating these guys? No, 2 years. In 2 years we can integrate them, so we'll keep improving our relationship with them so they can't, so that to avoid risks. We'll request knowledge sharing from them as well, that's nice. Is there any other republics in Italy we could potentially vassalize, or would consider these guys are a republic? They're 32 away, so not that hard. But they're part of the Holy Roman Empire, so it may be hard to get them to accept vassalization. We're already at 200 relationship with them. I guess we'll leave it, since they're so high, it's going to be unlikely that we get to vassalize them. Instead, let's think about further expansion. Since we've just beaten Naples and Hungary in a war, what is our military looking like? We got 11,000 levies. Is there someone else we could go to war? Holy Roman republics. Question is, has the Holy Roman Empire reached a point where the Holy Roman Emperor himself can intervene in conflicts? I think they might have done. Maybe? I'm not sure. When I click the option to declare war, I don't see the Holy Roman Emperor coming up on the list. I was pretty sure that the law that lets them intervene was this golden bull. Ah well, for now we'll assume that the Holy Roman Emperor is called in wars with members of the Empire. So we'll start to look for other people to expand to. We could always declare war on people that are not members of the Holy Roman Empire, but are allied to other members. We could force them in. For example, Florence is in a union with this county of Urbino, who is also allied with Siena over here. So we could declare war on these guys, draw in these other two who are part of the Holy Roman Empire, and surely the Emperor himself wouldn't intervene. I'm a little hesitant to go immediately to war, though, just after winning one. Maybe instead we should sit things out a little. It would cost us another 20 prestige legitimacy, and we're low on legitimacy now. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to attack Urbino. Maybe I'm starting to bite off more than I can chew, but I can't resist my urges to just declare war and bring the people's heavenly that's the wrong one, heavenly mandate to the world. So we're going to do it. Let's declare war on Urbino, immediately raise our levies, immediately gather everybody. One thing I was thinking is we don't really have many forts. We should probably actually build some. Once this war ends, we're going to start building a few forts to increase our survivability. This war should be very simple and easy because there's so few of them, so we're just going to split up our armies and start sieging stuff down. No reason to go crazy. We'll assign the few characters we have as generals. Let the mighty People's Republic spread. Another thing I'd like to do is get enough prestige that we can become a duchy, since getting up ranks in the, I guess, just country ranks is always good. Alrighty, we've fully occupied all these countries, so now we need to decide what are we going to take. It's very tempting to just take loads of land. Who's going to stop us, right? If we wanted to, we could separate piece everyone and take literally their whole nations. It's not actually going to anger anybody. Is that really true? Surely the Holy Roman Empire is going to have something to say. The main people that are going to be angry about this are Italian states, obviously. Here's what I think we'll do. We'll take something like this. It gives us -80 antagonism, mainly with Siena, Florence, the Bank of Bardi, and Peruzzi. Who here do we want to avoid antagonism with the most? I'm not sure there's anyone we specifically care about, mainly just the Holy Roman members themselves up in the north. We'll take this, and then we'll probably sit down for a bit and just eat or swallow what we've eaten, I suppose. Now look at it, Rome is so big now. We've fully surrounded this small republic now. Maybe they'll be willing to accept vassalization. If not, we'll just wait and then eventually absorb them. We'll assign our other member of our cabinet to begin integrating this land, starting with the most populous province of Siena. We've begun integrating our first small sister republic. People have started to form a coalition against us, but that was to be expected. So we're going to begin sending out the boys to reduce antagonism or anger. It looks like France also has a coalition against them, so hopefully France will soak up most of the anger of the people in the world. Schism has struck the Catholic Church. Now there's 3 situations going on at once. Looks like the Pope has been reduced to this small town here. I guess he lost his land in France. Yeah, looks like it. Who took it? Looks like it was Provence that took it. So the Pope's down here, so there's a schism between the Catholics, between the French and the Catholics. We'll stay out of it, not really our problem. I'm not sure we'll bother supporting any side, though we can vote. Maybe we should vote for the French just to weaken the papacy? Perhaps even? I'm just not sure it really matters to us who wins. I suppose we want it to end as fast as possible so that we can start getting the votes back on the various issues that the clergy can vote on that give benefits. We're also going to revoke the agricultural cultivation now. It's going to cost us 20 stability, but oh well. What's a better reform that would be more suited for our nation? It might be worth trying to get this exchange of ideas, but we need to get our innovation and our humanism up to 50 for each of those to embrace it. Maybe just seniority here. It'll increase the burghers' power by 10%, but push us towards plutocracy and give us some 5 tax efficiency. Yeah, I think we won't think about it too hard. We'll just go for seniority. As discussed, we're going to start building some forts around. We inherited 2 that we gained from Naples down here, but we want a few more. Mainly to cover our northern side. Just scatter them around. Won't think too hard. Best not to think. Our ruler's daughter has come of age. Unfortunately, we can't royal marry her to anyone because we're a republic and republics don't do royal marriages, right? So I guess she'll just kind of sit in our court. We could make her a member of our court, but it'll cost us 20 Republican tradition, which is quite a lot. And her stats aren't good enough to really justify it, honestly. We finished our path of research. Where should we go next? I think we're going to go down the other side of the tree to mills, intensify agriculture. Then we'll grab the power of coin to increase the burghers' estate satisfaction. Then we'll grab clerical literature and church attendance duty for that extra stability. We'll probably grab inquisition laws and that denouncement of heretics for the extra 0.05 prestige. Since we've decided to go very centralized, we're actually going to invest heavily in centralization. Fortunately, there's not much we can do right now that'll push us towards centralization. We've kind of already got the stuff we want that pushes us in that direction. Instead, we're going to look at things that are pushing us towards decentralization and try and revoke those. For example, this fortification licenses that the nobles have that pushes us towards decentralization by 0.10. If we could get rid of that, we'd actually start pushing towards centralization by at least 0.7. The son of our ruler has actually come of age. Unfortunately, we can't royal marry him to anyone either. Unfortunately, in the current version, it seems that AI marrying each other or marrying off their characters seems to not work very well, so it's likely our ruling family, not that they are a family, they're lowborn, will die out. It would have been nice to see these people stay with us, even though it goes against our Republican ideals, right? But since it's kind of outside of our control, we won't lose any sleep over it. Alrighty, I'd like to revoke a privilege. It's going to be quite expensive on the stability, but I think we're going to revoke either the feudal contracts here for the nobility or only nobles are leaders for the nobility. This one blocks lowborns, clergy, burghers, and commoners from command, and that's most of our people, while making them both a little unhappy. And it of course gives 50% power to the nobility. But I kind of think I'm going to revoke this feudal contracts because this gives 100% power to the nobility. Although the benefits aren't really that useful because I don't really plan to use mercenaries. If we look at the power of the nobility, they're actually not that strong. Once we take away this 100, they should fall actually to the second most powerful group within our country after the clergy. They do make our levies a little better though, and of course we like having strong levies, at least for the moment. Maybe actually we should hold off beating them up. Now actually, what's the worst that could happen? It's time to bring these nobles down, or at least further down than they already are. That's going to put us in the negative for stability for quite a while, but that's par the course. As you can see, the nobles have now dropped all the way down to second place, with only 24% power, with the clergy taking first place with their 30%. I'm actually going to change my mind on research. We're going to finish researching the Inquisition, even though it's not that useful. We can let the papacy control it, which just gives 1 estate satisfaction. Which is a little nice, I guess. After all, these estate satisfactions stack up then, since we've embraced the banking and Renaissance because they just showed up in our country on their own, we're going to rush down the Renaissance side for the extra cabinet seat, which will help us integrate land faster. And then we're probably going to go grab Patron of Culture. Normally I wouldn't care that much, but patronizing our culture will be very helpful getting our prestige up so we can stop being a county. Once that's done, we'll probably head down into banking. We've integrated all our 2 sister republics. Now, we probably won't take any more vassals for the foreseeable future. There's just not many left in the area. There's this small republic, but they're part of the Holy Roman Empire and aren't willing to accept our vassalization, and more importantly, they're already somebody's vassals. Our truce with Naples has actually expired. Should we think about attacking them again? They've got 10,000 levies. Hungary has 6,000. Who else is in this union? Croatia. Croatia's only got 700. We could probably win then, couldn't we? I doubt the Nepalese vassals are strong enough to really help out. We are still negatives on stability. We do have a few rebellions that are getting close to actually rebelling as well. Maybe we should hold off a little. But my greed, I can barely sustain it. I can barely keep it in check. We're about to integrate Siena. I wonder, should we start removing territory we take from the Holy Roman Empire? Is there any benefit to doing so? It makes the ruler of the HRE angry, in this case, Austria. I suppose it doesn't matter unless something bad happens for us controlling that land, so we'll keep an eye out for a negative event or so. Unless something bad does happen, I don't think we'll bother removing territory from the HRE. At least not until we're strong enough to just fight the whole HRE on our own. Right, Siena's been integrated. Whatever, I'm sure it's fine. We're going to attack Naples. This time around, it's going to be a much closer war than our first one, even though we won the first one. But as I said, it was closer just because they were stronger than us. This is going to put us further back into the... Will we ever have our stability above 0? Maybe not. Maybe we'll just constantly use it, spend it as it comes in. We could hire some normal regulars, but I want to hold off until we actually research professionalism. So we can just go all in the moment it becomes available. These guys are actually a vassal of the Nepalese. I didn't notice, but I suppose we'll have to deal with them as well. Whoa. No, it's just a few hundred vassal armies just jumping on us. Not a big deal. We've also finished building all those forts, so we should be a little more defensible this time. I guess we'll head up and deal with the Nepalese vassals up here first. We're not going to bother integrating them, just smashing their armies and then trying to stack wipe them if we can, because it means they'll be out of the conflict. Although it looks like they're retreating towards Nepal itself. Naples, I don't know why. Like, I'm infected, I can't say Naples. I just kept seeing, I can't say Nepal, I keep saying Naples. They got me. Looks like the Nepalese army's down here, so let's try and grab them. They are sieging Nepal, which makes sense, they probably want to liberate it. Also, I didn't mention it, but look how cool our soldiers look with that purple. Pretty sure they don't normally look like this. They normally have whatever color the nation has, but because we got such a vibrant purple, they're wearing vibrant purple. Feels good. We should be able to win this battle. We do outnumber them. I don't think there's any regulars in... There might be regulars. Unfortunately, I can't check. Or can I? I can't tell. Are these guys... Yeah, I think there are some regulars, actually. Around 100. 200 even. I think we can win there. Let's do it. What can regulars do against the People's Fury? Not a lot, apparently. Even though this army is led by their king, who for some reason... Oh, no, this isn't their king. This is one of their vassals, his rulers. He's still pretty good, though. Got very high admin. But he's not going to be strong enough to defeat the people. Big a lot of war score. Defeated. We've got to keep an eye out for those Hungarians. They'll probably eventually show up. Let's try pursuing the Nepalese and see if we can't wipe them out. They seem to like fleeing down here into the tip of Italy's boot. So if we can catch them, we can stack wipe them. There they are. Let's keep pursuing them. There, we managed to stack wipe them. Perfect. Now there's only really the Hungarian soldiers and their vassals in the war, plus Croatia. So we're going to split up our army. Where actually is the capital of Naples? It's up here now. How many forts they have? 1, 2, 3. Only 3? Looks like it. I guess we'll split up 2 of our armies and have them start sieging the forts. And then we'll have 1 army go around and occupy the unforted land. And then we'll think about what we want to take from the peace deal. Also, I didn't notice, but somehow Croatia is a vassal of the Pope. I mean, I guess. Also, if the Pope has vassalized this bishopric, which controls a lot of Sicily. Again, I'm not sure when that happened or why, but it did happen. Even though the Pope is this small location, he's still exerting his power even after the fall of Rome to us. Or should I say liberation of Rome by us, the people's representatives. All right, we think we've done enough bullying. Now the question is, what exactly should we take from ye old Naples? We could expand deep into his south, but that would put us far from Rome, which would make it harder to increase control, at least for the moment. I'm thinking we take more of the central Italy. Something like this. Maybe let's bite even more. Something like that. Give us complete control of central Italy and and exile Naples to southern Italy. We need to wait a little bit to get a little more war score. Who would be the angriest? Probably this small republic here. We don't really care if they're angry though. So we'll start improving relationships with them anyway. Not really anyone of note would get angry at this, but we'll improve people's opinions. We want people to be happy and like us. Everyone should like us. Are we not the people's representative? There we go. Peace is done. This, I didn't notice, but this tiny little county still exists here though. They're presenting us having a much nicer borders, but we'll deal with them in time. Expand our levies. They've done their duty for the people and Rome. We'll need to keep an eye on the rebelliousness of our pops since we've expanded even further, but I'm sure we can handle it. On that note, actually, let's drop down diplomatic spending. Since we don't have any vassals anymore, it's not that big of a deal. And we're mainly just going to use it to decrease the unhappiness of our enemies, which is the entire world, essentially. We've researched another reform. I'm not sure there's a reform I want to grab here, though. Plutocratic ethos is pretty nice, just because it gives us that extra 5% to base parliamentary support, but it's not that good. Something could be said for diplomatic traditions with its increase to diplomatic reputation, but I think we'll hold off on that for now. I think we'll likely just hold this reform and not use it for anything until something comes along that we like exchange of ideas. There's also religious tolerance, which might be good, at least not right now when there's not really any other religions around, but in the future. We're now researching our next cabinet seat, which will immediately put to use once it's available to start help with integrating this territory. We haven't been able to earn the prestige I wanted to earn, so that we could become something more than a county. What do we actually need to form Italy? We need to own 224 locations, okay, and we'll plus Milano and Florence. Neither of those should be too hard. There's our next cabinet seat. Right on time. We'll start integrating Urbino up here. Another son came of age, but again, we can't marry him off to anybody. What a pity. This was one of the problems with the new update that made so you couldn't marry off nobles, is because we're not a monarchy, these guys don't count as royal family, and so we can't marry them off, which is annoying, because I'd like to marry them off, even though it's not a big deal. We must keep the bloodline alive and all that. I'm wondering whether we should jump on the Pope. On that note, well, not on that note at all, we can now pay for patronizing the art, patronizing even. Hopefully we'll be able to quickly get our prestige up. Where should we go next? I'm thinking we go down, well, actually we have access to professionalism now. Really, it's a choice. Do we go down and grab light ships so we can start spreading our maritime presence around? I mean, what's our control looking like? Well, our proximity is like this, so we're not really getting any proximity in the eastern side of Italy. We could also afford increasing our proximity in Naples, for example. It's already going by sea, so if we could increase the sea control higher. But on the flip side, do we need more? Well, we always need more money, right? And I suppose investing in an army would be just as costly as investing in a navy. So I guess let's go for the navy. We'll get banking, we'll grab merchants and trade, then we'll grab docks, the light ship, and we'll probably grab the protected harbour as well. We're probably not going to do any exploration or colonizing in this run, or at least not in the beginning. We might end up taking colonies from foreign nations. We'll see what happens if that ever happens. Since our stability is once again in the positive, let's think about revoking something. I'm thinking we revoke something from the clergy this time. But the clergy reform privileges are also great. This one massively buffs us towards communalism, but we haven't really decided whether we want to go communalism or individualism. A country based on individualism may get more exceptional characters, while one focused on communalism is all about the greater good of society. I think we'll put this one to a vote. We'll let you, the Senate, the People's Senate, decide on whether we go communal or individual. So I'll hold off on that. Instead, maybe we should revoke some privileges we've given to the common folk. This one that pushes us towards decentralization by 20 is pretty bad. It does reduce the power of the nobility, but the nobles have already had their power kind of broken. They're below the 25 threshold. And once we revoke this only nobles a leader, they'll lose an extra 50. Well, maybe we should just revoke this fort limit one. Yeah, I think we'll revoke the fort limit one. The fortification license reduces the nobles' power by 25%. It doesn't increase their happiness, so it's not like it's keeping them in check by having it. We'll get rid of that. That should help us push towards centralization. There's actually a coalition war going on against Naples, which is pretty funny, although I'm not sure. Coalition should win. The problem is the Naples and its allies are spread over a large territory. We'll see what happens. If a bunch of small nations suddenly appear out of Naples, we might jump on them. I'm also wondering whether we should create a new market in Rome. Honestly, I'm not an expert on the market mechanics, mainly because I just don't find it that interesting, and therefore I don't spend as much time investing into it. to learn. But I mean, it would be thematic, wouldn't it, for Rome to be the headquarters of a new market. As it currently stands, we're split between the Genoese, Venetian, and Napoleon market. Also the Croatian one over in Ragusa. Is it in Ragusa? Yes, it's in Ragusa. So bringing all of the, trying to bring Italy under one Roman Republic might not be the smartest idea, but it sounds thematic. We'll consider it once we get up to the 500 gold we'd need. We finally got light ships. Should we start investing in them right now? I was holding out so I could build a market in Rome, but so many other things have taken my money and attention away. There's going to be a rebellion up here in a second, unless the province gets cored, in which case it should stop. We've grabbed our protective harbours. Now where should we go? Going over here for bureaucracy is a good idea, because we could grab centralized bureaucracy, which would just give us that extra ticking centralization. Counting house is also nice for increasing local crown power in individual province locations. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight for bureaucracy, and then we're going to go down for professional armies. We're going to head straight for the armory so that we can start raising the people's levies, well, the people's military might forces to protect them from the vile nobility. Also, we can build a market. We're going to do it, even though it's probably not a good idea. We're going to do it anyway. Just as I was about to, somebody revolted. Where? I think it's this. No. This, in these two locations, have rebelled against us. We'll send the boys up to deal with them. We shouldn't need to send many of the boys TM. Just some in this area. Let's build that market, just as I said we would. Let the market of Rome rise up. The market of Rome now exists. We'll need to keep an eye on the needs in our new market, but it should be fine. There's about to be another revolt in the south by the Nepalese. Once we deal with that, we'll be able to think about moving outward. This revolt has a few forts, so this conflict might take a little longer. If we're lucky, they might just surrender once we start liberating their locations. We're also going to start building up our navy now. We afford 5 ships currently, but that should be more than enough to have a starting fleet. Revolt defeated. Our truce is up with the Nepalese, so maybe we'll attack them again. Just keep beating them up. I also don't like the Pope. I don't like how he's kind of expanding. Look at his borders. Did he integrate Croatia? He did. Croatia's gone. Now it's been replaced by the Pope. The Pope is migrating into the Balkans. Why don't we help him with that? Not just yet. Let's keep fighting Naples. We'll attack Naples again. Now that Croatia's gone, it's just them plus Hungary. What I'd like to do is take the boot of Naples now, and then use that boot to walk onto to get to Sicily. And then we'll probably fight the Pope and remove his vile influence from Italy potentially permanently. He can go be the Balkans problem. Sounds appropriate. Bureaucracy is online. We'll of course go for the centralized bureaucracy. All right, time for us to peace out. One of the problems we're starting to run into is where it's hard for us to get enough war score because there's not a lot of land in Naples to occupy. Oh well. Could we full annex? We couldn't full annex them. I'm thinking something like this. Something like this. Just take the boot. We'll need to let our war score increase a little bit more before they accept, though. There we go. I don't think we're going to immediately declare war on the Pope. We do have the stability where it wouldn't be much of a big deal if we did, but I'm a little wary of taking on another few provinces, and there's the coalition. Is it just going to be the Pope, though? If it's just going to be the Pope in the coalition, maybe we should just declare war. They don't have any. Oh, no, actually, they do have Venice as an ally. And Ferrara, I believe. They would both join the war. Although it's close. Nah, they already have their very high relationships with us. A donation to the Pope? I think not. Let's start thinking about setting up navies. It looks like we only need 1 navy to get all of southern Italy. So we would need 1 navy here, 1 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get around to the other side of Italy. So we need 5 navies to get to have our control spread from Rome over to our east coast, which would be about 100 ships. Or I'm not sure if these represent 1 ship. I think they do. So yes, 100 light ships. We'll be able to spread our control to both sides of Italy. We're going to revoke another privilege, I think. I think this time I am going to bite the bullet and revoke a clergy one. They're just all pretty good, or at least I like them. We haven't decided on whether we're going communalism yet, which we're going to do in the poll, so I'll hold off revoking communal privileges. We do want to go humanist, so ones that increase spiritualism, definitely we want to get rid of. Are there any privileges that actually increase humanism? I don't really think there are. It might actually be quite awkward increasing it if there's no options to. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that increases humanism unless we've already grabbed everything that does. Also, before I forget, we're going to revoke this no labor on Sundays policy since it reduces goods output by 5%. Sorry, peasants, you can't have all the privileges all the time. Sometimes you got to give. Maybe instead of going after the clergy, we should just get rid of this only nobles can be leaders. Yeah, I think we'll do that instead. The clergy get to escape our ire for the moment, but it's only for the moment. Armories are online finally, which is good. What else should we research then? Getting this max literacy +5 is always great. It applies to everyone, not just a certain class of people. Recruitment law also. We could use this to push us towards individualism by using this condottieri contracts, where we don't really plan to use mercenaries. Anything else that jumps out at us? Coastal forts, obviously. Man-at-arms for better infantry, or crossbowmen. We also probably want to get cannons. Yeah, let's grab gunpowder, gunsmith, and cannon maker, and then howitzers. They're not howitzers, although I suppose they are a kind of howitzer. I believe the modern howitzers have their name from this artillery. Then we'll grab rag paper. Let's go for distant markets and maritime presence, pound lock canal, and then the max literacy. We'll see where we are when those 9 are done. Should we grab this guy as well? I thought these guys could be built abroad. Maybe they can be built locally. Now we'll leave them for now. Focus on getting those 10 or those 9 options. Continue to expand out. Well, actually, let's start building some armories now. We need to let our gold come in a little. All right, it's time to hire the first regiment of our actual army. There's only going to be 1 because we need to wait for our gold to come in. I've been investing all into ships at the moment and other things. Glorious, look at him. We need a good name for our standing army. I guess let's call him the People's Vanguard. The People's Vanguard. If you have a better name for what we should call our armies, do let me know. We won't have a vote on it, I don't think. We'll leave it up to good ideas. For the moment, though, our main military will simply be called the People's Vanguard. All right, we're going to call it there for today. We're very close to the 1400s, finally. So I'll turn things back over to you, the people. Tell me, we'll vote. Should we go between individualism and communalism? Which is more appropriate? A country based on individualism may get more exceptional characters, while one focused on communalism is all about the greater good. What should our society embody? The individual talents of the people and their skills, or the greater good of our society? Pick whichever one feels more appropriate for you. For now though, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Next time we'll try to completely conquer the boot of Italy and maybe move on to Sicily. And then we'll start looking at these northern folk.